Okay, so I'm going to welcome everyone to the Sunrise School Division Board of Trustees regular meeting for Tuesday, April the 16th. Welcome everyone. We are going to have O Canada sung by Hazel Ridge School. Please stand if you can do so. Thank you to Hazel Ridge School. We're going to have our treaty acknowledgement. I'm going to ask Trustee Boytson for our treaty acknowledgement, please.
We acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Thanks, Trustee Boytson. Before we get underway, I will let you know that there are 7 of us, right? 7 trustees that are in the room. Trustee Smith, Trustee Nicol, Trustee Rowan, Trustee Boytson, Trustee Dent, Trustee Harris, and myself. And we have Superintendent Reed. It's interesting. The other Superintendent Timko. Our Secretary Treasurer Thiessen, our Assistant Superintendent Fieldberg. We have Tracy Weidman, our our Purchasing Manager here with us, and we have our Sunrise Teachers Association President Serena Kloss in here with us. Oh, and we have our Executive Assistant Sarah Scott. Did I say that right, Mr. Harris? Right on. There we go. Thank you very much, and then to all the people that are listening online, welcome to it. We're going to have the adoption of the agenda. We have an addition to the agenda, I'm understanding. It's in there already? Perfect. So we're going to have an adoption of the agenda, so I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Nicol, seconded by Trustee Smith. Any questions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll vote. So we passed 7-0. I should have said that Trustee Rowland is not able to make it here tonight. Chair's comments. A reminder that if you have any questions, please send them to our Secretary Treasurer, Jody Thiessen, at jody.thiessen@sunrisesd.ca. Put your name and address to the sender to be included in the email, and we'll get to your questions at the end of the question period that is later on tonight. 3.2 is share a story. Anyone want to share a story? Trustee Boytson.
On Thursday, April 11th, Trustee Rowan and myself attended Art Speak at Camp Cedarwood. The theme was planting seeds. The students and staff put in 4 long 10-hour days filled with art, writing, theatrics, and drumming. The students displayed their painted flower pots and matching boxes, which is beautiful artwork. They worked with a world travel percussionist, and we witnessed some amazing drumming. The evening performers showcased their learning. There was so much talent in the room. Thanks and kudos to the staff and students for such a wonderful, entertaining evening. I've attended a number of Art Speak evenings over the years, and I have never, ever been disappointed. So I'm always amazed by what can be accomplished in those 4-day sessions.
Thanks, Trustee Boydson. Anyone else? Trustee Rowan?
I'll second what Trustee Boydson said about what a wonderful evening it was. I really enjoyed seeing the students. They were all engaged, and you could tell that they were excited to be there. The Springfield Music Parents Association had their meeting on April 8th. They'll be running a 50-50 in May to support the music programs in both SMS and SCI. Their next meeting will be April 29th, where they will finalize some details before the spring concert starts. Arrangements have also been made to hold a workshop with the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra for students from both SMS and SCI. The date for this has yet to be determined as of their last meeting. OBE has their kindergarten orientation night tomorrow. Anyone with children entering kindergarten at OBE is encouraged to attend. There will be a short presentations from Transportation, OPUE, and the OBE Playground Committee. Ecole Dugald School is having their provincials for esports for, I can't think of what it's called, but it's this weekend. It's the soccer one. Sorry, can't remember what it's called. And SCI PAC will be meeting on April 30th. Their goal is to work on the purpose of the group at this meeting. They would love to have additional parents attend and help grow this committee.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Trustee Dent?
We'll cross a few of those things off on my list here to share. Thank you, Trustee Rowan. I need to get my hand up faster. Oakbank Elementary did a movie night for a fundraiser on April the 5th. I know SMS and Dugald right now are in midst of their badminton tryouts for divisional playdowns, which is at the Prairie Badminton Facility in Winnipeg. We have Springfield PAC on April 30th at 7 o'clock, so I'll be there. So folks that would like to join the PAC, we'd like to see you out. Dugald is having their movie night on Thursday, April the 18th. Migration will be the movie. The doors open at 5:30. It's $3 per person or $10 per family. And that's going to be a fundraiser for the playground committee at Dugald School. They're also having a pancake breakfast on Saturday, May the 11th from 9 to 11. And again, that will be in support of the DPAC Playground Improvement Project.
Anyone else? Trustee Nicol?
Weymouth hosted SAC badminton playdowns yesterday and today. Weymouth School has a badminton club that meets twice a week for middle and senior schools, and that has increased the number of students that participated in the Sunrise Badminton Tournament. And on Friday, there's a PD, and what the school is having an elder coming to the school to share the knowledge about TPs and treaty trading and about treaty reconciliation.
Trustee Nicol. Trustee Smith?
Is that working? Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, I just didn't know if Robin was going to share, because we share school sometimes. Okay, so Spring Tea is going on both your early years on May 2nd, 2 to 4. It's amazing, trust me. You get free dainties. Come on down. There's a senior hour between 1 and 2. Let's see here. I'm just, sorry, I need more glasses. Join us in welcoming spring with the return of EBEYS's Spring Tea, Dainties, Beverages, Entertainment, and Silent Auction and Silver Dollar Collection. And also at Edward Schreier, my screen changed, 1 second. County Monte Cristo is starting May 8th, May 9th, and May 10th. And showing starts at 6:45, doors open, and start at 7. You can check everything out on the website. And I'll leave Gillis to Robin.
Trustee Harris, I guess you're next.
I don't have anything to say about Gillis tonight, except they have a PAC meeting tomorrow. Nothing to report from the past. However, last week I was able to attend the Broken Head River Recreation Commission. Our board puts one of our members on their board, And one of the highlights of their meeting is that they are finalizing their strategic plan for 2024 through 2027, similar to our board working on our strategic plan. And our meeting was held at the recently renamed Beausejour Sportsplex here in town. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Harris. I want to give a shout out to all of our staff. The staff that are taking kids on trips right now, overnight trips. Lots of work that they're putting in when they're taking kids on overnights, and there's lots of them that we've been approving as a board. So kudos. Plus, it's the spring, and so there's, you know, you're hearing whether it's sporting events or field trips that are going on. You know, kudos to our staff about the work that they're going ahead and doing with all of our kids from all of the schools. Lots of things that are going on and lots of educational enrichment things. So kudos to our staff for going out and doing that stuff and putting in the extra time and going the extra mile. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Did I miss? Okay. We're going to go to 4.0. We have a presentation, and I'm going to turn it over to Jody to introduce the presentation.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So tonight we usually feature either an operating department or we'll feature an education department or education school. And tonight we're going to feature, once my computer is letting me log on here, we're going to feature our purchasing department. So the purchasing department is run by our manager, Tracy Weidman, with her purchasing clerk, Shannon Hansel. They together work as an amazing team, coordinating a lot of furniture purchases, materials and supplies, and work with the schools as to what is within our tender prices, tender packages, and help outsource and find vendors out there that can fit and suit the needs of our schools. So they're very busy at this time of year. This time of year we have a spending deadline, so we can have all our goods received by June 30th. So I'm happy that Tracy can make her way out tonight, but I know there's a lot of emails flying back and forth trying to meet the spending deadline for the schools. So I'll turn it over to Tracy.
Tonight I will provide a broad overview of the tendering process, why we tender, and some of the tenders we have committed through both the Metro School Division and our division directly. Is that better? Okay. A tender is an invitation to suppliers to bid on a good or service or project. It is formally advertised document with general conditions and specific criteria with an exact closing date and time for bids to be submitted. Sunrise, being a school division, is a part of the MASH group, which means municipal, academic institutions, schools, and hospitals. The Sunrise tendering policy, located on our website, requires expenditures over $50,000 to be tendered to comply with the Public Schools Act. Exceptions to the policy would be if the goods or services are unique in nature and there are only one or two sources, if the goods required need to be compatible with existing equipment, or if an emergency situation is deemed to prevail. We are fortunate to be one of the only rural school divisions to participate in tenders issued by any of the Metro divisions. The Metro divisions do the heavy lifting in terms of the process, and we benefit from the end result. The diagram outlines the basic steps in both the process for Metro as well as Sunrise. Planning is done in consultation with the applicable department manager. Documents are drafted in accordance with the criteria required for the good or service. Generally, tenders are advertised on our website and the local papers. Depending on the good or service required, we may also advertise in the free press. A request to tender notice may be sent to current suppliers as well as potential suppliers that can satisfy the requirements, notifying them of the upcoming tender. Once the tender document has been finalized, it will be posted on our website for download by potential bidders. In analyzing the bids received, we will consider price, quality, warranty, former experience with the seller, delivery, overall bid compliance to the tender document conditions, as well as references. We select whom we believe to be the best company to supply the goods or services required while considering pricing, quality, references, etc. Lowest price is not the only factor weighed for a recommendation to award. All Sunrise tender awards require board approval. Our job is to reinforce the terms in the contract and ensure that the conditions are maintained. In rare cases, contracts can be terminated for cause. However, our priority is to work to resolve problems directly with the seller. Poor quality service or delivery delays can cost us in the long run. Factors such as time, wages, or additional spending on replacement product or repairs need to be considered when awarding a tender. We often hear, but I can buy it cheaper somewhere else. An apples-to-apples scenario needs to be considered when comparing factors such as pricing, quality, use of the product, as well as warranty. There are services that are generally built into the tendered price of the goods. If a product is sourced where the price and quality are lower, and we must replace the item due to non-durability, it is costing the division more money in the long run. A specific example recently was a bookcase that was cheaper than the tendered product. However, the online surfing confirmed it was an additional $350 to ship from the U.S. This resulted in not only a higher cost and delayed delivery time, but the concern of the condition of the unit upon delivery, and how would a return request to a toll-free number be processed to the division's satisfaction. We try to find a balance for local purchasing being within the community, municipality, Manitoba, and Canada. If we continually outsource to non-local suppliers, the local suppliers will cease to exist. The local suppliers consider student safety for their product, attend on site for planning or warranty or repair issues, and provide direct customer support, as well as in some cases their own company delivery, as well as install. Fair competition refers to making the tender available to everyone. The selection is not biased toward any particular company. Transparency is a critical aspect of the tendering process. It ensures all suppliers are provided with the same information. It eliminates any favoritism or bias and allows Sunrise to make informed decisions based on the criteria and bids submitted. Tendering processes can generate significant cost savings. Through competitive bidding, suppliers offer their most competitive prices and value propositions to win the contract. An example would be the grass cutting and snow clearing tenders that have had previous pricing held firm for 7 years, with the last 2 of the 7 being zero increase based on year 5 bid pricing. This is a significant cost savings to Sunrise, as those tenders had pricing secured that were bid 5 or more years out. By inviting bids from multiple suppliers, this gives access to a broader pool of expertise and capabilities. This enables an evaluation of different suppliers based on their track record, qualifications, and references. By following a formal tendering process, this demonstrates a commitment to fair and ethical practices, complying with applicable laws, regulations, and policies. The process typically includes clear guidelines and evaluation criteria that help to assess potential suppliers. I'm an active member of the Metro Purchasing Committee group. As you can see, Sunrise does participate in selected Metro tenders, as our dollar value for certain commodities is not significant enough to receive a cost benefit as a standalone tender. When tendered catalogs are available and items are applicable for school use, we post them in the purchasing area on Teams for principals and secretaries to access. In closing, the tendering process offers numerous benefits and advantages that make it essential practice when seeking to purchase goods or services. It promotes fair competition, transparency, and cost savings, while enabling Sunrise to access quality expertise and ensure legal and ethical compliance. Through the tendering process, we can optimize procurement outcomes and achieve value for money.
Thanks, Trace. You can breathe now. Relax. That was good. No, good. Yeah.
You want to know how many times I went through that today? No.
Turn your microphone off. So it just needs, we need to, one person can have their microphone and we'll get feedback. Nice job. Now you can breathe, and thanks for going ahead and doing that, and we appreciate you coming in. Are there any questions that we have for Tracy from anyone? Trustee Boyson.
No questions, just a comment. I'm going to take your presentation and take it home to my husband and say, see, cheaper is not better. He needs to know that. And just, I like the idea of supporting local. because that's what I try to do too. It's like, you know, by the time I'm running around looking, what's my time worth? So, and it's important to do that. So thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Harris?
Do you do this, run this whole department by yourself, or are there other people involved as well?
I have a purchasing clerk, so there's 2 of us in the department.
Any other questions? Trustee Nicol?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what you mean by Metro, since there's no division that's called Metro. So what does that mean?
Yeah, the Metro, they refer to it as all the divisions in the city. They have their own committee, and we're one of the only rural school divisions that participates in that committee and benefits from their tenders. No, just school division.
Anyone else? Well, thanks Trace for coming out and presenting to us. Thanks Jody for introducing her. And again, anytime that we can obviously buy local with similar products, we heard that that's a great opportunity for us to go ahead and do that. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And she did say that we probably are finishing in a couple hours, so when the couple hours are over, you can leave. So thanks, Trace. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to move on. Thanks, Tracy. We have minutes, 2 sets of minutes. So be it resolved, the board adopt the April 2nd board meeting minutes. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Boytson, seconded by Trustee Dent. Any questions to those minutes on April 2nd? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Good, you just kicked it under the table, Sarah. That worked perfectly. We passed 7-0. Thank you for that. We have the April 9th minutes. So we have, be it resolved that the board adopt the April 9th special meeting minutes. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Rowan, seconded by Trustee Dent. Questions of those minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 7-0. Thank you for that. So now we're into the superintendent. So we have superintendent's report. Trevor.
Thank you. So you've got the report there. It'll pop up. First couple of words there, just some information about our past and upcoming SELT meetings. So I'll let you read through that. Just worth noting though, at our April SELT meeting, we started our day in a variety of schools here in the Beausejour areas, and all of our administrators had the chance to see a lesson that was being taught. Most of those lessons were delivered by our program leaders, but a couple of bravos to Lisa Walker from Edward Schreier School and Kevin Shays at Gillis School, who took the risk and invited a group of 4 or 5 administrators into their classroom to watch them teach their students. So thank you for them. It was also noted by administrators that they really appreciated the opportunity to get out and see a different Sunrise school other than their own and spend some time just getting the feel for some different buildings, so that was well received. We've already heard tonight through the share of the story about the Divisional Arts Speak session that was hosted at Camp Cedarwood. I was also in attendance, and like our trustees that were there, nothing but great things to say. I will add that there was a full theater with 77 people in attendance. I took the time to count because it had definitely seemed full. So thanks to all of the family and friends that came out to support our students. And the next one is on April the 25th at 7 o'clock. So there's another upcoming Art Speak session, and the performance will be on Thursday, April the 25th at 7 o'clock. So if you can make that out to that, you won't be disappointed. And also at our recent April SELT meeting, part of our South agenda is just doing some celebrations where our administrators have the chance to brag about something at their school or give a bravo to one of their colleagues or recognize some good work that's going on in the division. And it was worth noting that one of our administrators gave a bravo to our HR department, who have been very efficient through the hiring process, getting postings turned around very quickly and getting the requisitions to hire for successful candidates approved very quickly. And when the one administrator acknowledged that, there were several people that echoed those comments around the room. So I just thought we would take the time to acknowledge our HR department at a very busy time of year that are doing great work supporting our schools. And that was widely recognized. So thank you to the HR group for that.
Thanks, Trevor. Any questions for Trevor? Okay, Trevor, so I've got one. When you had the conversation with, and I've been very vocal around this table with regard to spending, and I'm not sure if it was you, if you were there, Jody, or Trevor, with our administrators with regard to budgets and spending in current year and those, have that conversation go, or is there anything that you'd like to, and maybe I'm putting you on the spot, I probably shouldn't be doing this, I guess, but is there anything, feedback that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think the conversation was well received. We did some group discussions and we got some feedback, from the team, which I'll share with the board at a future opportunity. I think, we have a variety of levels of experience with our administrators, and some are more familiar with our processes. Some were admittedly saying, this is something I'm still learning and getting better at. Bravo to one of our veteran administrators who did speak up and just said, yeah, there's always room to sort of improve in our processes and make sure that we're being efficient. But, it should also be recognized that anything that we do with our budget dollars and fundraising and collecting funds and school funds is all going back to students. And so everything that they do is for students in schools. And, sometimes we need to get a little bit better with our processes. But the motivating factor or the drive behind school spending is it's all being done for students. And so that was a comment that was appreciated when, that was shared with our group. And so.
Thanks, Trevor. Any questions? Okay. Trev, we have, the next up is our, it's for information, it's our draft reporting schedule. Is there anything that you want to comment on that?
No, just there for information.
Anyone from us about the draft reporting schedule? We're good? Okay, thanks. Jody, we have the Secretary Treasurer's report. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The departments have been busy. I just wanted to note that in finance, in the month of April, we were very fortunate to have a practicum student learning payroll. So we were able to get that individual in the office and learn some payroll, and hopefully we can use that individual maybe in the future as a spare if we need, or they can find something in the neighborhood in payroll, and just to be happy that we could support them on their learning journey. So we encourage folks, if you have practicum experience that you're looking for, to reach out to the school division, because there is learning opportunities not only from K to 12, but even in the further education, in your post-secondary education. It kind of gives us opportunity. There are going to be times where we are unable to accommodate just because of what's going on in the office and how busy we are, because we do want to identify and support somebody's learning. So it's a great opportunity, and it was a really neat experience. Transportation has been pretty busy with attending 2 career fairs. We've been able to receive some applications through that. We have had some interested folks in the bus driver position as well as a mechanic position. We're not hiring or looking for a mechanic right now, but just knowing that getting the word out there that we do have mechanics, and and so they can know and watch for potential postings in the future. We did have a lot of discussion, or a good opportunity to have discussion about what it takes to be a bus driver and learning opportunities for that. Other exciting news, we should have our new bus en route that we just purchased off the lot. It was just being finished with the final equipment that it needed. So it should be on route this week at some point in time. So maintenance has been busy trying to wrap up some of the capital projects. We have our science lab completed by Bredan Construction. It fortunately has been ahead of completion date, so we should be doing a final walkthrough next week and looking at deficiencies. So we're pretty excited to hear about that. Some other projects are near completion. Oakbank roof replacement, just looking at issuing or the holdback payment for that one. Hazel Ridge School, we do have, I don't know why that popped up. Okay, that needs to go away. Hazel Ridge School, we found that the flooring will be replaced. It will be done before the end of the school year. We're just finding a day that won't be disruptive to the school. Again, SCI though, with their larger project with mechanical and roof replacement, what we're finding is the chiller is still delayed. Estimated time of arrival is sometime in May. The contractor hasn't updated us with a new arrival date, but we do know that it'll take about a month and a half for completion of that once the air conditioner chiller unit does arrive. We haven't had any concerns in recent, since our last report for the project, so it seems like the timelines are coming along. Ecole Edward Schreyer School, we're still working on the deficiency list now that the snow is melted, identifying exterior deficiencies and trying to get that up and finished. We had the contractors out last week working on some items, so it's exciting. It's exciting to hear that this project is coming to an end. And that's kind of a summary of what they've been doing. IT's just been trying to catch up on assessing the needs for the schools. Oakbank, Dugald, and Enola areas, we're looking at future needs for those sites and assessing what kind of computers they need. So, any other questions?
Thanks, Jody. Any questions for Jody? Trustee Harris?
For several meetings in your report, Jody, under Hazel Ridge School, the gymnasium accessibility lift, there's always been a note that said electrical panel work remains. That's not there tonight. Does that mean it's complete?
Yeah, getting the feedback from the maintenance manager that that's been updated. Yeah, it should be completed. The maintenance manager told me it's been done, so I can remove it from my project, the outstanding list. So I'm taking it from him that it is done. Other than the flooring, that's the only outstanding matter.
So has Trustee Boytson ridden it? It's been christened though, or? That we've been waiting for this for a long time and to not see that.
The unit is functioning. It's all connected to wiring and it is functioning. It's just the final, the flooring is left to be done.
Any other questions? Jody, I've got one. You talked about career fair. So I'm going to ask the question. So I'm not sure this is a you or a Trevor question, but we had a career fair. How'd it go?
You want to go? Sure.
Yeah, the career fair, again, we talked previously, I would call it a success. You know, we may all define that differently. We talked about the fact that it's probably not a volume event, but if we do get a small number of people that are interested in our division, that does make it a success. It was interesting this year. The difference between this year and previous years was that typically we see more of the non-teaching staff come in during the day and more teaching staff in the evening. What was different about this year's event is we did not have many teachers come through in the evening, and we had more come through during the day. Jody Wilgosh, our division principal, his interview schedule was full for the entire day, so I think he did upwards of 18 interviews, 16 interviews if I recall correctly, through the day. And a couple connections were made in terms of a couple of sub-educational assistants. I believe we got at least one, if not two, sub-bus drivers. So again, we didn't necessarily get a huge volume, but for those people that we did find and did make connections with, that is going to help in our schools and in our department. So from that lens, it was worthwhile.
Thanks. Anyone else? Trustee Smith?
I just have a question. Like, I remember when I went to like U of M, the career fairs there. Do we ever send anyone there?
Yeah, we have a presence at University of St. Boniface, Brandon University, U of M, and U of W. We have teams out there recruiting and doing on-site interviews if the university provides us with that opportunity.
It was interesting, though, that the last time you guys talked, you found that I think that you said about doing in-house was better than going there, and we've been going to those places for the longest time, but getting people to come on out here and interview out here, I think the last week or whatever you said that that was better. It was an interesting comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, the local recruitment fair probably provides a higher level of efficiency. When we do go out to the universities, there's lots of students, and not to discredit them in any way, shape, or form. They're wise to kind of kick the tires and investigate a lot of divisions and see what's out there, and that's what we get. And having said that, though, going out to universities, we do make good connections. And already this year, we've hired several people that we made the first interaction with at these recruitment fairs. But the advantage of the local recruitment fair is when we do something locally, people are coming, out to Sunrise, so we know that there's a sincere interest. They've made the effort to come and check us out. So, everybody who's out there is interested in us in some way, shape, or form, and some richer dialogue at the local recruitment fair, that's for sure.
So nice work to you guys that have been doing that. I'm looking at the three of you, certainly when we're hiring teachers, kudos to the work that's going on, and as we continue now to compete in that area. So nice work. Anyone else for Jody? Okay. So we're going to move on to student engagement activity, and I think Trustee Smith, you've been asking for this kind of information. It was brought once, and now it's been kind of revised. I'm not sure who wants to talk to this. Is this you, Kath, or Trev, want to talk to it?
I've got it. Log back in. Actually, I don't need to log in for this one necessarily. The student activity report, it's there. It's the third time you've seen it this year. It was sent out for schools for another round of updates. And this time around, what is new on the report is what you see there in green. So anything green is what's been added by the schools.
So this is impressive. This is impressive about what our staff is going ahead and doing. And I think that Trustee Smith, you had asked a little bit about what's going on in the different schools. If somehow we can, this would be great if it was on our website for parents to go ahead and see. I don't know how we do that, but there's an awful lot of things that are going on in our schools that a lot of people don't know, and this is really good to go ahead and see. I think that we, at times, we don't do a good job of patting ourselves on the back about doing this, and you know what? Kudos to the work that's being put forward because of the different things that are going on in our schools and the opportunities we're providing to our students. Stuff inside of the classroom and everything that's going on outside of the classroom. So kudos. So think about this, about, whether we put this somehow getting on our school websites, and, when teachers are looking, and, at some of the schools you're scrolling as to some of the activities that are going on. So kudos to them. Anyone else want to comment? Trustee Nicol?
Yeah, I just want to say that there's an impressive list, but it would be more useful for me if I knew some of the abbreviations. I have no idea what QSA is. So I'm just saying if a school puts down some stuff to make it more meaningful for me is that don't use abbreviations like just QSA or GSA, and put down what it stands for.
Perfect, thanks. To share. Trustee Smith?
And forgive me, you may have answered this already. Which principals have access, other teachers have access to this? I'm just wondering if a teacher sees a program at one school, and you probably have answered this already, if they see coding at Oak Bank and they're like, huh, I would like to bring that to my school, who can I contact about that?
Yeah, the school names are there, so I think any teacher would know to maybe reach out to the school principal and, ask for a contact of a teacher who might be running the program or get more information.
For me, I'm just like, for the coding, like Oak Bank, I'm like, I know my youngest would love that, and in my mind, I would love that to be available, but in my mind, I'm like, how much is that? If I say, oh, let's call a teacher and say, hey, I want coding in this school, I don't want to say, go ask your teacher about this. Meanwhile, it's like thousands of dollars. So I don't want to be like, hey, Luke, go talk to your teacher about this. So I don't want to send my kid to do that. I don't know, I'm just thinking to myself, because he would be amazing at it, I'm just saying.
I think schools or students in schools ask, schools and teachers for lots of things that may or may not be a reality or within expectations, and schools are always, faced with the difficult decisions of doing what's most important to their own individual students, and I think students and parents should be encouraged, to ask for things that interest them and, challenge their schools to provide engaging opportunities for students. Won't always happen, but if we don't bring it up and we don't talk about it, then, it doesn't even have a chance to coming to fruition.
I have access to this list. My son does not. I'm just wondering, kids don't know that this stuff's available. I'm just thinking, kids don't know. How would kids even know that this is a possibility if we don't show them that this is a possibility?
So kids, I think that each school is going to have some different activities that are going on, and if students are interested in some of the things, they talk to teachers, and whether teachers can accommodate those kind of things is great. But what I heard a little bit earlier is, we need to go to grassroots, we need to talk. So it's really about what students are looking for and what schools can go ahead and provide. They can't provide everything. But I think really it does come down to, when students are interested and there's a teacher that's excited about doing something that's going to put in the extra time to do it, that it's coming together. I think that it's a great list. I think that if there are individual students that are looking, again, there's all kinds of different schools all over the province, that there's some activities in one school and some activities in others. Not everybody's offering the same thing.
In my mind, if there's something that's after hours at one school and a kid knows about it over there, but it's after hours, is there any way that this kid can apply to go to that after hours program at that other school?
So I'll let you answer that, Trevor.
I would say that for the most part, our activities are they're school focused. And all of our schools are going to be different. They're going to have different staff members. And, what might seem to be an inequity, because a student wants to access an extracurricular activity at a different school, well, that school that the other student goes to probably offers something that students in another school. And so that's not even getting into the logistics necessarily of transportation and how many students may want to be traveling in between schools. So I think for those non-educational opportunities, it is best left to the individual schools.
Yeah, good answer. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Long Service Retirement Gala. I know that Trustee Boytson had spoken a little bit about it. I'm not sure you've got it. Go ahead.
I'll start, but then the board does have to do some work about filling some roles. But there is just the report there with our committee. We did have our first meeting, and the date was selected for Tuesday, June the 11th. So you can save the date for the divisional event there. The big news that came out of the meeting is the committee agreed to a format change. So the traditional practice is to have honorees ask someone to come and give a speech or speak on their behalf if they were interested, and then also provided with the opportunity to say some words of thanks. And as much as in the past we've been given very clear instructions about how long these opportunities are supposed to be, that hasn't always been followed. And so we've had sometimes an honoree has 3 people coming up and, a slideshow and speeches that, no exaggeration, run on to 15 minutes. And that's great that we get to honor our retirees like that, but for most people in the room, they may or may not know the person and necessarily need to hear that. So the format change that we agreed to this year is we will ask all of the schools or school sites to write a tribute to the honoree. These will be of similar length, and those will be read out by the MCs for the evening. So this will allow for a much more equitable recognition of all our honorees. It was sometimes awkward when someone had the 10-minute speech and then said 5 minutes of thanks, and then the next person coming up actually didn't want to say anything or have a speech made on their behalf. And so, a little bit more fair and equitable. All of our honorees will be honored in a similar way. The evening will flow, much more smoothly, and we'll be able to control the time. Because the other piece of feedback that we've observed and got in the past is the most enjoyable part of the evening is the social time, where people get to sit at their tables and talk to colleagues, or go back and forth between tables and visit with people or colleagues from different parts of the division. So by lessening the time in speeches, we get to honor and provide more of that social time for our honorees to mix and mingle with the group. So that's a little bit about the date on June 11th, but there are 3 roles that have come out of the meeting that are traditionally by the trustees, and they're there on the report. So I don't know if Paul, if you or Lorraine wants to speak to those, or Dustin, and so.
So like Trevor said, there are 3 roles that the board needs to fill. So I guess we were just looking for someone to give greetings on behalf of the board, someone to make a toast to the retirees, and someone to make a toast for the long service. So Paul, if you want to ask people, and people can...
Sure, okay. So, anybody want to volunteer for any of those 3? I don't have a problem about giving greetings from the board. If somebody else wants to do that, they can go ahead and do that. But, so, toast to long service and award recipients. Any takers? Trustee Harris?
Do any of the 3?
So toast to the long service award recipients. Is that you, Mr. Harris? Is there anyone else want to do it? Okay, Mr. Harris, thank you. Toast to the retirees. Melissa or Lorraine? So, it's you, Melissa? Okay. Greetings from the board. Anyone?
Bless you.
Okay, then I'll do the greetings from the board. We got all 3. Okay, thank you. Calendar. This is you, Mr. Reed.
So it's just a follow-up from our last meeting. Of course, at the last meeting, you got notice of motion for calendar approval. We had a little bit of discussion at that time, so it's just the action of motioning the calendar approval.
Okay, so be it resolved that the board approve the school calendar for the year 2024-25 as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent, seconded by Trustee Rowan. Any questions to this? Trustee Boytson?
I just have one. The mauve color on the calendar, what are those days?
Those are the colony religious holidays.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Pass 7-0, thank you for that. General fundraising. So we had a discussion certainly about it. Be it resolved that the board direct the superintendent to draft a procedure for general fundraising which includes information presented and discussed at the April 2nd board meeting. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Nichols, seconded by trustee Smith. Any discussion on the general fundraising? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 7-0 as thank you. School fees. So be it resolved that the board direct the superintendent to draft a procedure for student fees which includes information presented and discussed at the April 2nd board meeting. Move and a seconder. Moved by trustee Rowan, seconded by trustee Dent. Questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Okay, it passed 7-0 as well, thanks. Can't wait, Trev. The 5-year capital plan, that was presented last time as well. You have all the information there. Be it resolved that the board approve the 5-year capital plan as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Nichol. Any questions to the capital plan? Trustee Rowan.
The ad hoc committee had a bit of a discussion at our most recent meeting where we wanted to get the board's input. Currently on the capital plan, we have the school listed as a French immersion / vocational school, and we wanted to get the board's input on this because we haven't actually decided what student population would enter this school, and we don't want to present to our constituents something that may not actually be factual. We don't want to necessarily say that it'll be the French immersion students going in there if it's not the French immersion students going in there. However, in some conversations with Jody, the feeling may be that we may get higher leverage in having it listed as French immersion, so we wanted to have a discussion around the board table.
Thanks, Melissa. Comments from people? I'll start. I'm not so sure that we have the population to support a vocational school. For us to have a vocational school, what kind of vocations? We've had this discussion lots in the last number of years. I recall, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that we have the population to support it. Because are we looking for a full-fledged vocational school that has 5 to 10 different vocations that are housed there? Or do we have 1 or 2, and which 1 or 2 are we picking? Because that was part of the conversation we had a number of years ago. I do agree that we need more space and another school. I'm not so sure that we can, if we do get a vocational school, that we can fill the vocational school. My comments. Trustee Nichol.
Well, my experience is many years out. And I think that time we have lots of time to decide whether we have the population or not, and time to go and go to a neighboring school division and say, all right, what are you offering your school that you would like to offer, but you don't have the time to, like, for instance, be so close to Winnipeg, so that we could offer a course in Oak Bank that they're not offering in River East. So again, this is just, once the province decides, it's going to still, when I I got on the board in 2006, they were talking about the school in Dougal. So you know how long that took before it came into fruition. So this is not going to be tomorrow. No, the next meeting though is on April the 23rd.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Trustee Boytson, anything to report from the Finance Committee?
No, next meeting is on Thursday.
Thank you. We don't have Educational Foundation. We have our next meeting is still to be determined, correct, Jody?
Correct. We talked about in the minutes, which will be presented next item. We talked about potentially doing a May meeting, but it'll be subject to the circulation of the final document.
Okay, so we have those minutes that are there. I think that it's real important once we get a final document that all the trustees take a good look at it. There was lots of discussion about the foundation, about how things. Jody, you've done a good job, but there are a lot of things that are in there that may be new to people. You may have some questions, but once you get it, certainly reach out to any of the committee members. But we will be looking to ratify that. Trustee Boytson?
I just have one question. When I was looking over the documents, I was always finding it difficult to determine if it was the committee or it talks about the trustees and then talks about the executive. And I was like, okay, who is this and which one is this? And then the other thing is it also talks about who makes the decisions. Are the decisions made with motions? Like, are they never brought to the board, or those committees just make the decisions?
That's a good question, because I know at the discussion at the table, we all had that conversation. So in the document we're preparing, we identify the scope of who the trustees are of the foundation, the trustees are of the board, and then the executive committee. So the information that this document that we're creating, some of that is found within the document approved by the trust document approved by the courts. Some of that information will be translated into the document we're working on. And then on top of that, there are going to be recommendations of when the board themselves makes the ultimate decision, the board here at this level, and then who makes the decision at an operation day-to-day, and then who makes it on decision-making. So the document we are working on should identify it, but it is, I think it'll be welcome for further comments if there's required further clarification.
Great point all the way around, because it was part of the discussion that we have. This board is setting up all the parameters around the foundation. Day-to-day stuff with the foundation, though, is going to go with the foundation group. But it'll be, as you go to clarify, perfect. Nothing is set in stone. It's this group here that will make that decision as to what it's going to go ahead and look like. So that's the encouragement about reading the foundation and so taking the time to ask questions when it does come up. Thanks for that. The Ad Hoc Planning Committee, that's you, Trustee Rowan.
Yeah, so the Land Planning Committee has been hard at work. We have been working on the initial recommendations. Tonight we just passed putting the new school at the top of the 5-year capital plan. Trevor has made contact with River East Transcona School Division. We are hoping to set up a meeting to discuss their needs and our needs and how long we kind of project that will fit into their plans. The hope for that is that we'll meet last week of April or a little bit later than that, anywhere beyond there. We have our letters ready for both Minister Owasco and Minister Altmaier, and we have also taken the time to review the École Dugald School expansion, just so that we as a committee could get a feel for timelines and how long these processes take. So I'm open to questions if anybody has, but I wanted to give an update at this time.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Anyone? Questions? Trustee Nicol?
I'm just wondering why the minutes are not attached to the, usually the minutes of every committee is attached onto the agenda.
The minutes are not attached because this was a last-minute addition. I can have them sent to Sarah so that they can be uploaded.
Great point, though, Trustee Nicol, is that part of it is I know you wanted to get it on and you called me about it, and so give an update. But again, I think that always giving people a chance to read minutes and look at stuff, perfect. Okay, thank you. Where are we? Press releases, nice to know information. We have CSBA conference July 3rd to the 5th. Questions from the public. Jody, do we have any questions from the public?
No questions at this time.
So do we have any questions from our public here in the back row? Serena, anything that we can answer for you?
Okay, great. So, yeah, no, just a comment. No questions at the time, but the comment, because I went to the job fair here, the career fair, and the one in Lac du Bonnet, and yeah, there was so many people interested. It was such a great time, and, you know, my counterparts, Jason and Jody, were fantastic to spend the day with, so I think we conjured up a lot of business for Sunrise, so yay, yes.
Thank you, because actually, Serena, I didn't know that you were there, so now thank you for coming there and doing that with us. And yeah, when we can partner and again, about recruitment, you know, it's what Trevor, I think Trevor shared with me the other day, that the biggest thing that probably boards need to worry about over the next year is about finding the teachers and finding the right teachers, you know, to put them in, you know, put our, in our schools. And, you know, when I heard the other day that 7,000 to 10,000 teachers are going to be missing in Quebec French language teachers. You know, yeah, that's an alarm bell, certainly, as to where things are going. So, yeah.
Like I've always said, anything I can do to help, just reach out. It's a team effort.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Serena. So there aren't, Jody, there's no other questions, or is there? Okay. Before we move into camera, we do have a motion that we can do right now from in camera. So be it resolved that Trustee Nicol, Trustee Boyton, and Trustee Magnan form the CUPE 5097 Negotiation Committee with a chair to be elected from amongst the 3 negotiating reps. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent and seconded by Trustee Rowan. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. It passed 7-0. Thank you for that. So we're going to move into in-camera, but we don't have any kind of decisions coming out of in-camera. We still need to finish up. So just letting people in the public know. Thanks, Serena. It was pretty corny if I'm on. Yeah. But anyways, for letting everybody know, there aren't any other decisions that are coming on, so we can adjourn this part of the meeting, right? And then just move into in-camera. Are we all good with that? Okay. So then our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.